All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! Get to the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
Nick
That's my-
Gambino.
that-
Sorry.
And I'm Neil Carson.
That's my fucking...
Did he just say
that's-
Nick Gambino?
Nick Gambino.
He
I am Nick
just,
Gambino.
like,
What?
stole
That is
my
my name.
intro.
You're supposed to say, and I'm Nick Gambino.
No, you say, and I'm Neil Carson. I never say, and I'm. He
What
goes.
do you say?
He goes, Diego de Cruz.
He goes, I'm Diego
D'Souza.
D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
I'm
and
Nick-
you say, and I'm Neil Carson.
Oh, I say.
You
and
are the
I'm.
and. You're the.
Oh,
You're
man.
You're the one at the end. So you
Fuck
say
it.
the and.
I'm dropping the and now. You're gonna go.
And I'm Nick Gambino.
No,
you
you're gonna
say,
go.
I'm
I'm,
Neil
Nick Gambino, and I'm just gonna go. I'm Neil Carson.
Yeah.
Just to make it
I don't
weird.
like the way I do it. I'll be honest. Every time I listen to this, I'm like, I hear
That's
myself.
because you don't like the way your voice sounds.
I
when you
don't.
listen to
I
it
don't.
back.
I hate
Nobody
my voice.
does actually.
But also, I hear whenever I'm editing this and I hear I'm Nick Gambino, I'm like, that is fucking annoying. I want to slap myself in the retroactive face.
you should.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
well...
real quick,
you do
I
that.
can't hear myself really.
Yeah.
is that-
Oh,
there it is. What'd you do?
No, I told him to
Because
turn it down when he was playing
We were
Slice.
checking out...
Oh.
we were
So
researching
loud.
some trailers,
Oh.
so I had to turn it down because they were very loud.
Okay. So what are we doing today, Diego? Announce it for the fine
Oh,
people
wow.
listening to this.
I didn't realize
We
he was in there.
have a versus
Versus. It is Halloween month.
Halloween.
So we're going to be doing
month,
some
so-
Halloween themed things. Yeah, Rooney Mara.
In the remake.
In the remake with the
I
yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah.
I have
So
to watch it again.
kill. Isn't that what they're saying? It's like they're saying something. It's like kill.
Chicken.
Chicken. So we're doing.
Subliminal messages were really big back then, especially with
Yeah.
The Exorcist, when they would slice in
Yeah.
in individual frames, like actual photos of real people being murdered or
Yeah.
some
Ugh.
shit. Like that was a big thing back then. And then the
in the
government was like,
70s more.
"We're the only ones that are allowed to do that in our propaganda films. Hollywood's not allowed to, so they made it
Right.
illegal."
You ever seen a subliminal
It's
message
actually
in
illegal.
Top Gun? It's like, join the Air Force. They're like little quick.
No,
No, it's not a thing. It's not a thing.
Fuck.
Chill, bro.
There you go. So we're doing Freddy versus Jason versus Michael. Not Michael Jackson.
Man.
It's going to be Michael Myers. So we're
Oh,
going to do
wow.
Freddy Krueger versus Jason
fucked
Voorhees versus Michael Myers.
I gotta be honest. I got pushed to doing Jason. I don't know if I can do it.
Well, because you said you were more of a like
I
Jason
said
guy
Jason-
over Freddy.
Yeah,
Neil was conflicted about
but I don't know about.
Freddy versus. Oh yeah, that's her. Yeah.
No.
I'm conflicted between
Nancy.
him and Michael Myers, though. Jason and Michael
But I'm
Myers.
taking Michael
that's-
Myers.
I know you are.
You're
So
taking-
I will do my best to
Okay,
defend Jason.
He's got Austin Powers.
Because I do
got
not-
Freddy Krueger.
because I don't.
Yeah.
Who do I got?
You got Jason
Dr.
Voorhees.
Evil.
Now, I just want to
Dude,
establish.
Doctor Evil.
Dude, they did that movie, Jason versus
Freddy
versus Jason.
Jason.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Why didn't they do Michael versus
Because-
like Freddy or
Now
something?
let's just get this out of the way.
That was a great movie.
I want to
dude.
establish
That wasn't
something.
dumb. That was badass.
I want to establish something real quick.
What?
I want to establish something real quick. Is Freddy Got Fingered part of the Freddy
No.
Krueger
Yes.
canon? It's canon. It's
Yes,
canon, right?
that's canon.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Any movie that Robert Englund is in is canon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Scream
Okay.
is part of the Nightmare on Elm Street.
There you go.
films.
Urban Legends. He's
Urban
the professor.
Legends. Yeah.
All right.
Oh wait, he wasn't in Scream. That was
He
Wes
wasn't.
Craven dressed up as Freddy Krueger.
He had the
in,
shirt.
in the Scream. No, he was wearing the hat. He
was
was
wearing
shirt. He had like a beard or shit. It was like, I mean, his face wasn't melted or whatever. But
He didn't have the hat.
I'm pretty sure he was wearing a
He
hat.
was a janitor with the,
Yeah,
with
he
the
was a
shirt on.
janitor.
Yeah, but he wasn't wearing a hat.
Dude,
Who wears
I
a
don't know if I'm
cowboy
saying.
hat when they're? Why does he have a
He's-
fucking
he's
cowboy
wearing
hat?
a random hat.
No, what is that hat called? That's not a.
It's
not
a fedora.
cowboy hat. It's a fedora.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that they gave this
It's
guy a
Indiana
fedora.
Jones's hat.
It's not completely. No, because Indiana Jones doesn't have a fedora.
Yeah, he does.
No, that's not a fedora, dude. Fedoras are pointed at the top. He's got that divot in the middle. That's called something else. Indiana Jones is not wearing a fedora.
No.
Freddy, no. You think Freddy
Why are
and
we
Indiana
talking-
Jones have the same hat, dude? You think Indiana Jones and Freddy Krueger have the same hat? Tell me you think this. Tell me you think I'm going to use this as ammo for my arsenal.
Dude.
Tell me
Yeah.
you think they're the same hat.
fedora worn by Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but is it the same hat? Is Freddy wearing a fedora?
No, it's called
It's a different type of fedora, if anything. They're not the
fedora
same
worn by
hat.
Indiana Jones, well known, blah, blah, blah.
If you tell me they have the same hat, I'm going to kill myself
One of
right
the most
now.
recognizable fedoras in the world.
But what hat does Freddy Krueger wear? Somebody Google this.
Oh.
Google this. Find people at home. Google this and call in. The number is wait, that's not going to work. This isn't live.
Phones start ringing
Yeah.
a couple days later.
That'd be crazy.
That would be amazing.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
it's a fedora. It's basically the same hat.
They're not the same hat. There's no way they're the same hat. You're
They're
right.
the
They both
same
have the
type of hat. The category is fedora.
Look at that hat. That's imagine
Yeah.
Indiana Jones wearing that fucking hat.
I swear to God, if that's the same exact hat grabbed by the
his
prop
doesn't
department,
have the
I'm
band. Indiana Jones has like a band.
yeah, and
around
different,
the
slightly
base
different
of it.
color too, I guess.
Yeah, it's a slightly different color.
So Freddy's going like
All
this.
right.
Da, 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 da. Anywho, all right.
Yeah, it does
so,
have actually a little band. There's a tiny little one.
Yeah.
And Indiana Jones is like an inch. And a
That's
half
true. They
thick.
actually have the same fucking hat.
I think Neo's
Yeah.
trying to avoid
in my
the subject.
head, I can't.
That's because you blanked out. Freddy got in your dreams and made you forget.
What if we
Whoa.
found out they're in the same universe and Freddy is just Indiana Jones? Because Freddy's based in the
He's
80s
just
and
Indiana
he's in the
Jones.
30s. So he died and made a pact with the devil, and now he's fucking haunting your dreams.
Why is he going after all them kids? Because the parents burned him alive.
He's like
that's
us
why.
now, hating on the millennials. He's
You know,
like,
when
these
you
80s
find-
kids with their sexing.
All right,
and
wait,
their-
wait. So
and their
since we're doing this
cocaines.
versus, here's a good segue back into what we're supposed to be doing. Who has the saddest, most justifiable reason why they're murdering people now?
Oh,
I feel like
Jason.
Freddy.
No, Jason, 100%. No, Freddy was a pedophile who got burned at a fucking
Oh,
thing.
fuck, I
no,
forgot about that.
Jason
He
was
wasn't
Jason.
Jason was like a little boy that was allowed to drown because
Was
they
he
were
a pedophile?
fornicating on the fucking the council.
Yeah,
for
you're right.
fornicating.
Jason is the
Jason.
saddest.
And then
the
he
He
saddest-
holds
Yeah.
grudges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
He holds
Freddy a
grudges.
pedophile? Did they mention that in the original film or is that in the remake?
I feel like it was it wasn't the remake. It was part of the original films, but
I
I,
know.
think it was in the original film, the first film. I think they mentioned it in. It definitely wasn't part of the remakes because I've known this story forever.
He wasn't just killing kids?
I think he was.
No.
Well, he was maybe killing them, but I think he was also
Diddling?
diddling the kids. Why am I laughing at that? That's not funny.
Should not be
He
laughing.
was diddling. Well, they're fake kids. He was. They're actors. They're crisis actors. No, he was diddling these kids.
He's in crisis or Christ-like.
I think, but and
Getting
all the parents
derailed
got together and either like burned him at a stake or put him in a furnace or something. They killed.
Yes, yeah.
Jay-
or no, they
Freddy.
Well, in the
They
remake,
drown.
they actually show.
They
that's
show
like
that.
a big part
Yeah.
of the
Oh,
film.
they've only mentioned it in the original. They never show it.
Because they basically like surround him inside. He like hid out or lived inside some like facility, some building or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like some furnace. There was a
Yeah,
furnace
he was like a
there.
groundskeeper or
And
something like
yeah,
that, or
they
he
lit
was
the
a-
whole thing on fire and he burned alive inside of there.
Okay.
But he
Got
was
it.
like, how he got the power to get them in their dreams.
It was a pact with the devil. That's the concept. Is he basically
They don't ever show that or really.
Yeah,
say
but
that.
it's
like,
mentioned in the
implied.
original films. Like that was kind of the thing. Is he had made an agreement? I think even in Fred.
Well, no,
Jason
you
Goes
don't
to
find
Hell,
out.
Jason Goes to Hell. It's kind of even referenced.
But you don't. And at the end of the first film, the mother reveals to the daughter like the reason all these because all the teenagers are like, why is everybody dying? What happens to Johnny Depp? You know, he's dead now. He
Yeah.
got sucked up into the ceiling, which is
yeah.
like the most iconic shit ever.
It's kind of cool.
He
yeah.
literally gets like sucked into the fucking ceiling, and then
Yeah.
there's just blood like shooting out of the.
It's cool.
It's
Scene.
bananas.
That original film.
Oh wait, no, it was his
I
bed.
can't do
It was a bed. No, you
It was
stuck in
his
the bed.
and then
I
blood
can't
shoots
do
out of
this
his
anymore.
bed.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
I can't do
The
this.
claw hand thing or whatever grabs him through the bed while he's listening to the music.
Yeah, so good.
Yo,
so
I
good.
don't know if I can stand. Like, I'm trying to do some research on this shit, and
I like how we research while we're doing the episode.
You know,
There's
it's
no.
I'm reading
Winging it.
more.
We're
I'm
winging
trying
it.
to bring in
Always
strong
winging it.
points for Jason, but I just not finding
I
it.
rewatched the original two Jason films
Look,
recently.
check this out.
There's
Like,
no
I'm trying to find
character.
stuff for Jason Voorhees. No, there's character. It's a good film. It's a good character.
Yeah.
Jason is.
They're not good
is
films. So
great.
they're not good.
No, they
No,
are.
they're good. They're good
We'll
films.
talk about it. I rewatched
I mean,
this
the
recently.
latter ones
Slasher.
get ridiculous, but it's like.
I'm gonna
This
say
guy
some
wrote-
because this is an argument. So let's
What?
let you talk first.
This is
Yeah,
the
no, this
verses.
is not.
Yeah,
no,
the
this is
verses.
totally like a ripping Jason right here. So,
Yeah.
when he was 11, he goes swimming in the lake on his own. This is clearly against the camp rules and is a very stupid thing because he's not a strong swimmer. Also,
Right. Yeah. So
This
we're
is the guy's
Are
getting-
we victim
he was
shaming?
basically-
Are we victim
Like, bro,
shaming?
He was basically
Man,
the
you
Elephant Man, like if you
Yeah,
guys
you know what I'm
remember
saying?
when,
But-
when they do show him without the bag over his head.
Yeah, he's disgusting.
He's-
he looks like
he's-
a sloth. He looks like Sloth from Hey,
Way
you
worse.
guys.
Way worse.
No, he looks
dude.
pretty much like
Hold on,
that.
pull that shit up.
Sloth does not look as good as you remember.
Homeboy was jacked up.
No, Sloth was just a
Sloth
nice
is
guy.
endearing.
No, he's not endearing. He's
He was
just a nice
endearing.
guy.
It was like
when his ears wiggle.
Yeah, what was it? What did he? That was literally Steven Spielberg. Like he's like, make his ears wiggle. People love him. He's like an old dog.
He's good at doing that. E.T. was the first
All right.
lovable alien.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna defend Jason's machete.
Yeah,
Okay.
he does have the machete.
All right. So let's talk
Freddy
about.
Krueger is the most badass. He's the coolest bad guy of all.
Okay,
days.
good.
You're
And
all
Michael
gonna agree on
Myers
that.
is the scariest because not only is he's
He's
got
slow.
no. He's slow, but
he
he's
just
all
walks.
Doesn't matter. He's
Never runs
Never
anywhere.
caught though. Never. Well, except
That's
for the
why
time
he
was
wasn't in
caught.
Freddy versus Jason because he can't
Well,
run.
Man, this is so hard because
Jason
it's like
runs,
Michael
right?
Myers-
Jason runs. Jason will run
Jason
after you,
appears.
but he'll run.
No, he appears.
I've never seen.
I've
doesn't
seen him
run.
run.
I don't remember
Jason
him
10,
running.
but that isn't.
Jason
I've
X
seen him
in
like
space.
move and sneak and jump out
All right,
of stuff.
this-
I've never
Okay,
seen
we're
him
doing a
run.
three-way thing here, so we're gonna be talking over each other a lot.
Yeah.
Let's try and rein that in a little bit. Let me say something first.
Oh, look, the guy that talks 35 minutes out of the 45-minute podcast. he
Let me
said-
shotgun a couple things real quick, and then you can go, and then he can go, and
right,
we
go
can
ahead.
do a little round robin here. Okay, so Michael Myers, the thing that's always, and I've mentioned this before, the thing that's so creepy about him is that there's zero emotion, okay? And there's actually no reason for his insanity.
Yeah.
There isn't any sort of, they try to give him a backstory in the remakes that Rob Zombie did, but forget those. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the original Halloweens, the original Mike Myers. There's nothing. This kid is just pure evil. He's psycho.
He's a psychopath.
He's a psychopath. There's nothing scarier about there not being any reason behind the horror.
Yeah.
Okay, that is actually one of the reasons that made even the Joker so interesting. His backstory kept changing in the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Backstory kept changing. He there was no reason for the chaos other than he just liked to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
And that's what Michael Myers, he didn't have any reason behind it, and that makes it so much scarier. It's like, don't give him a backstory.
that was,
when they give him a backstory in the Rob Zombie movies, it made it less scary.
Yeah.
What's I'm like forgetting his name. The director, writer-director.
John Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter. That like if you watch interviews, that's what he says. Like
Yeah.
the idea that there is like a nothingness.
Yeah, they called him the
behind
Shape.
him.
They didn't even call him Michael Myers. They called him the Shape.
And then the film was on such a low budget that they took
William Shatner's
Shatner's face.
Halloween mask.
Halloween mask from fucking
They
Star
spray
Trek.
painted it white or painted it white, and they fucking frizzed up the hair and
Yeah.
or gave him hair.
And they just put it on the dude.
Yep.
And
that's,
he's just wearing like an insane asylum. Like
no. It's
jet-
like a
jumpsuit.
groundskeeper, isn't it? A groundskeeper?
Yeah, because he
jumpsuit?
broke out of the insane
The janitor.
asylum.
Yeah. Yes. He's in the gown when he breaks out, though. You
Oh,
see him in
and
the
then
gown
he kills somebody
and gets
takes
the janitor
suit.
janitor suit.
It is a
exactly.
very specific kind of like, it's almost like a mechanic's bodysuit
Yes,
type
it is.
thing or jumpsuit.
Which
and then
in the
mask
new one
and a
they
knife.
show
it's
him
a very simple
In
suit.
the new one, he actually breaks out in the auto mechanic's garage. He ends up in it, and that's where it looks like he possibly gets the suit from in
Yeah.
the new one. But there's
But dude,
something
Freddy
so
Krueger,
frightening
so-
about. Hold on, let me finish real quick. There's something so frightening about the no reason, where these other people have reasons, backstories, other things, and it makes it a little less scary when it's like, oh, but they're justified. Michael Myers is not justified. He's just, and he never talks, and there's never anything.
But see, they're the
go on.
polar opposite. Like Freddy Krueger won't shut the fuck up. Like he just keeps talking nonstop. He's trying he's like his power is derived from like how afraid he can make you.
Yes.
And that's what makes him an interesting villain. And so I'm reading up on like the origins of him, and it's interesting. His full name is Frederick Charles Krueger.
Aw, so
And his aliases are the Springwood Slasher, Child Murderer, Dream Demon, and the Nightmare on Elm Street. That
Yeah,
was his
which-
actual name.
That
I never
makes
knew
him
that.
very
you never thought of him
But
being
his
called
name
like
was
a
Child
nickname.
Well, the movie's
Killer.
called A Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
the first film.
But he's referred
his
to
name
as-
is the Nightmare. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
referred to as an alias.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the original film, in the original script, he was a child molester. But then apparently there was a whole series of child molestation cases
In real life.
occurring while
Ooh.
they were filming the movie, and they didn't want to associate the film with what was happening in real life, so they just made him a child murderer.
Oh, I always got the impression that it was like he was
No.
molesting. Like,
They did that in
who
the
just kills
reboot,
kids
the
without
reboot.
also? I feel like child murderers and child rapists.
There's a lot of people kill kids and don't molest them.
All right.
I'm sure this exists. I'm just
I'm
saying.
sure, yeah.
I don't know for a fact.
I was
feel
gonna
like
say, you sounded like you had like source. or
Yeah, this
something.
is like pretty common, Nick. Like,
There's
the-
all types of okay.
the murderer's
Keep
forum.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's just a interesting character, and I like that. I don't know. There's something about that whole thing of like the dark secret of. I mean, the guy's clearly a piece of shit, But instead, the parents had the opportunity to turn this guy over to the police and put imprisoned it for life or given a death sentence or something.
Yeah, they were mobbed.
These parents who've lost their kids as a result of this guy, when they pinpoint who the one is in their town who's like killing their children,
Right.
they decide to kill him and burn him alive and kill him in like a horrible way.
Yeah,
So he
torture
like really suffers.
Yeah.
And
Which
that's
is
their
where all the
dark
scars
secret.
come from and everything, the burnt face.
Yeah, but that's like the secret that the parents now have when their kids are grown up. The kids that survived are now grown up and in high school, and they start to have these dreams, and they're like, "Oh, I had a dream about this guy Freddy Krueger," and then a mother's like, "What?" It's like almost a thriller because you don't understand why the parents are reacting the way they're reacting until the end of the film. Right. It's just a very clever, original thing. It's like the sins of the father type thing is like affecting the children, and I think that makes it just a very like it hooks you into the mythology immediately in that first film. It was very well fleshed out.
Right. It's also the only supernatural one out of these three. The other, Michael Myers and Jason Michael Myers and Jason over time have added
Over
supernatural
time, like
elements.
the second movie, or not the second Michael Myers or Halloween.
No, I'm
film,
saying
but
no. There's a big difference between a
fourth
dream
Halloween
world.
film. They definitely
Four
bring him
movies
back
in.
from the dead.
I know. They constantly bring him back
But
to the
three
dead.
isn't like.
Yeah,
really.
Jason's flying through space eventually. I'm just saying they started with more modest means. They started more just like slasher.
Oh yeah,
flick.
this one started.
Starts supernatural. He's only supernatural. It's a dream world.
And Johnny Depp, one of his first
Johnny
films.
Depp, that's right.
Wasn't his first film,
wow.
but one of his first films.
Yeah. So he did that private resort or private school or
Resort,
whatever,
which is basically like Porky's.
yeah,
or something.
Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds,
Yeah.
Animal House. But yeah, so that is the thing about Freddy is, and Robert Englund did a great job. I think.
He was incredible.
And I like Jackie Earle Haley who did the remake, but I don't think he was as good. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
They
Dude,
made
like,
that known in the
The
latter
Claude Love,
movies.
that just the fact that like he was a janitor or whatever or a groundskeeper.
Yeah, I think that's
And
what
then
he was.
he took the blades and put. I mean, it just the character to me is so creative. He's wearing the black and red.
Yeah.
He's got the glove. One glove. He's like
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. This is like when one glove was
I know.
badass.
Yeah.
His face is all jacked up, and he's wearing a fedora. Like it's just so bananas. Like the creativity in the character.
I agree,
Whereas
yeah.
like Michael Myers is like the William
Iconic though. That's an
Most
iconic
people
look.
did not know that was William Shatner. And,
No,
and
I
now
know.
when you look at it, and you're like, oh shit, I see it. Like I can see William
That's creative.
Shatner.
That's low budget creativity
Well,
in its own
I mean,
right.
the guy broke out of a mental institution, grabbed the mask, put it on.
Yeah, but
Like,
I will
it
say
wasn't
though,
like,
I will say Michael Myers is the OG of all these. Okay, in fact, we'll go over to Diego. Jason
Was Halloween first?
Halloween was 1978.
Wow.
6
okay.
year before
Yeah,
that
shit.
one, and like 3
Yeah,
years
this is
before
84,
Jason.
yeah.
Like 3 years before Jason.
This movie
whatever.
made Wes
or
Craven,
2 years
though.
before Jason, because Jason. Friday the 13th, the original one was 1980 or 79 or 80, I think. So it was after. And the creator of Friday the 13th said that he was trying to just rip off the Halloween films. He actually said that.
Oh
You
yeah,
know-
yeah.
You know,
It's
might
a
say that,
schlock
yeah.
parody of what was going on.
You know,
he was trying to capitalize off it.
Nick,
Okay, go ahead.
just wanted to say that I'm already having a hard time, protecting Jason, and you don't have to bring that shit up.
Oh, okay.
You got to go into the
All right,
you
later
don't have to-
mythology. Like
All right,
when
talk
it-
about
The
Jason
only
then.
thing I
Talk
got
about Jason.
is that Jason outlasted both of y'all asses.
How
in
wait?
Jason X.
Who has the most films?
Oh, because he's in the
He's in
future.
he's
Because
in
he
the
was
future.
frozen.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's what I
what
said
you
in
got?
the beginning.
I
I said,
what
I
you
said,
got?
dude, he's gonna beat
I think
everyone
Jason
because
has the most films.
he comes back.
I think
like
Jason.
10,000
Look, I'll
years
give
in the
Jason
future.
this.
They never rebooted Jason, really. He's still just Jason, whereas the other ones have both been, like with Halloween and Friday the 13th, have gotten remakes. I don't think Jason's gotten a remake, right? He's just continuing.
No,
No, they've really
did they
no.
do a
No,
remake?
they didn't.
No, no, they-
oh,
they-
no, they
they
did.
did.
Oh, my God. They remade all of
okay,
these.
so hold on. Have you guys ever seen Supernatural?
Yeah.
The show,
So
yeah.
so the two brothers,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Winchester
Do they
guys.
show
So
up in
one
it?
brother, no, they're main characters. One brother is the main character in the Jason remake, and the
Yeah.
other brother is the main character.
Oh, but different. They play different characters.
is that right?
Same actors, but different characters.
Yeah.
They don't play their supernatural.
No, they don't
brother.
play their
Oh,
supernatural
okay,
character.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
They're
that's-
just they were cast in it,
All
I
right.
guess, because they were on that TV show
All
that
right,
went
all
on.
right.
And
I
on.
guess. I guess. Okay. So
Thought
going,
they were put
Although
them
I
in the
like
same universe.
Supernatural a lot. You guys, if you haven't watched it, you should.
it's a
watch
great
it.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've watched a little bit of it.
It's
I think
fun. It's a fun,
yeah.
scary show.
The thing that I
Buffy.
give to Jason,
Yeah, Buffy is.
that his kills were always fucking creative.
Yeah, that's true.
The spear through the. Okay, let's talk about the original two.
Dude,
Friday
the water
13th.
shit was crazy.
No, the
have you
water
have
shit.
you guys seen
the
those YouTube videos?
The lawnmower.
Wait, have you seen the YouTube videos where the dude gets like a scuba gear and he puts on the Jason like mask or whatever and the bodysuit, and then he literally will go to a dock during the day, go underwater.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
see
like
that.
wait for people to walk out on this dock, and then he'll just jump out of the water with
Yeah.
like a machete and throw his arms up, and people literally like run.
Fuck those
to their
guys that
cars
do
and
that
just,
shit.
Like, speed away.
How about the guy that did the Halloween thing walking down
But
the
if
street?
that
Like, fuck
happened in
these
real
guys.
life, would you really think it was really him? Like how?
No, but it's the shock of it, and you're like, is this person a crazy person trying to relive the movie, or is he just like videoing me for some viral thing?
It wasn't like necessarily an empty park. I mean, there were other people.
It doesn't matter when that happens. A crazy person can kill somebody in daylight. Like, I might think, is this guy trying to kill me? I'm not gonna laugh and be like, oh, you got me, and then he stabs me to death.
If it was like really well done, I'd be like, oh, this
But
can't be.
it's an all of a sudden thing. You're racing. It's fight or flight. It's not. Let me analyze the situation as this person is in a threatening
It would
position.
probably. I'd probably.
He's
just fall
got
into the
threatening
water.
body language. I'm not gonna sit there and think it. Oh, you got me. Where's
There's
the
tons of
camera?
them. There's
Where's
tons
the
of them.
camera? He stabbed me to death. Where's the camera? He slits my throat. Where's the camera? So Friday the 13th, Jason doesn't get the mask until the third movie. Okay, so these other two, Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, were iconic images
What
from the
does he
beginning.
wear in a second? There's the bag.
Your bag, yeah. He's got like a sack,
Elephant
like
Man.
the orphanage or the
Yeah.
Elephant Man. And he's got the
Elephant Man.
sack over his head. The first one, he's not even in, really.
Isn't Anthony Hopkins in the Elephant Man?
Yes, he is. Yeah. With,
Who plays the Elephant Man?
It's not Scott Glenn. It's John Hurt.
John Hurt plays the
Yeah,
Elephant Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys were Freddy and Jason were iconic. Or Freddy and Michael Myers were iconic from the get-go. First movies. Jason wasn't even the killer in the original movie. He was barely in it. He's
was
a
his
kid.
mother.
His mother,
His
Mrs.
mother was-
Voorhees.
Yeah.
And
So that gives.
no, I'm saying like it wasn't.
You know
about
how I
that.
knew that? Not because
Scream.
I've seen it.
It's
From
Scream.
Scream.
Because
Jason's the killer. No, you ain't. If you'd seen it, you know
I've
that the
seen
mother.
that movie 100 times.
It's
man.
Jason, you asshole.
Jason Voorhees, blah, blah, blah.
So if you'd
It's
seen
like-
it 100 times, you would have known that Jason didn't show up until the second movie. Mrs. Voorhees was the killer.
Killer, yeah.
Oh God, no! He's like,
Yeah,
say bye to
and then-
Steve.
yeah.
yeah.
That's a good, whatever.
Ghostface.
Ghostface killer.
Yeah, Ghostface Killer.
Ghostface killer, yeah.
I think that's Ghostface Killer.
That's his name,
Wu-Tang.
yeah.
He's Ghostface. Ghostface Killer is the
yeah.
Wu-Tang. No, he's good. Yeah. Do you want to die, Casey?
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's a guy who did that voice. Like I always thought that they
it was
actually
the- it
had
was
like
the
a little
thing,
box
right?
or whatever,
Yeah.
but there's an actor who does that voice in all the films.
That end when
Yeah.
Stu puts up, "Hello, Sydney."
Yeah.
Oh, so crazy.
Sydney. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so he didn't. So she was the original killer in the
Yeah.
first movie, right? Which you don't find out till the end, right? You don't even see her until right before she basically reveals that she's the killer.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like she was a character throughout the movie. You're like, oh my god. So that was a kind of an interesting thing. I feel like they should have had her show up throughout the movie and have like a role in the movie. Instead, she shows up, and 30 seconds later, you find out she's the killer, right?
Yeah.
And there's no actual connect. It's not like they set it up earlier on and it pays off later.
But didn't
really.
they plan? Wasn't
It starts off
Friday
like
the
back
13th
when-
was planned to just be one movie in the beginning?
Yes.
But because of its push, that's why the story is so
So,
different than the second one.
That's right. In the second one, the studio guys or whoever was pushing, they were like, we're going to make Jason the killer. Now, Jason didn't show
Yeah.
up until the end of the first film, okay? In the end of the first film, she's in the lake. She got away. She killed the mom. She
Yeah.
jumps in a canoe or whatever. She goes off into the lake into the night. She wakes up in the morning. There's cops on the banks of the river or whatever, or the lake, and are kind of waving to her, and she's waving to them. She's like, help, help. And then all of a sudden, Jason
Jumps up.
But he's a little like 11, 12-year-old Jason, jumps out of the water, covered in slime and sludge, and grabs her and pulls her down into the water. She wakes up. She's in the hospital, and they're like, what happened to the boy? The boy, Jason. We didn't find any boy. So
Yeah.
she's like, then he's still out there. And then it shows the lake. So it's kind of ridiculous, and you don't know if it's a dream or if it's reality. Okay?
This is in the first film?
First film. This is how the first film ends.
Yeah.
And it's weird because that means this 11-year-old boy has just been living in the lake for 30 years. Doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
Aquaman does.
They show like his hut or something, don't they?
No. None of this
Where he's
happens.
been living?
No, that's why the movie ends ambiguous, where you're like, there's like an 11-year-old, like he's just been living in the lake. That doesn't make any sense. Mrs. Voorhees is all pissed off that he got killed, that he died and drowned, and she hasn't made contact with him. What the fuck's going on here? So then it ends. You're like, okay.
But Mrs. Voorhees dies. at
She
the end
dies.
of
She
the
kills
She
her,
dies,
and then
yeah.
she goes off into the lake, and then he pulls her down into the water in the morning in front of the cops who
Yeah.
say they never saw a boy. So it ends kind of going, was it a dream or was it real?
Yeah.
The second one starts out. She's now living. She's in her apartment at home. End of the beginning of the movie. She's doing her thing. Some guy's walking on the street. You only see his shoes, and then all of a sudden she gets killed. It's Jason. He's now in his 30s or 40s. They don't explain it. He's now like apparently been living in a hut in the woods the whole time in 30 years, never made contact with his mom,
been
who's out
30
here.
years since the first one?
Yeah, 20, 30 years. He's sitting there
Since
going...
the events of the first film.
No. Since he was killed... since why Mrs. Voorhees basically is avenging his death and killing any
But the
counselor.
chick who survived in the first one is in the beginning of the second?
Yes.
Yep.
And it starts like
Okay.
maybe a year later or 18 months later or something like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Jason shows up, kills her, and it's like Jason is now an adult man, even though he was a kid at the end of the first one in the lake. It doesn't make any... They're not connecting it. And
Yeah,
why
but he
hadn't he
was-
made contact with his mom, who is all
No,
upset
clearly
that
it was
he
a
died?
dream then. That must have been a dream sequence.
That's not... No, they basically acknowledged that there was no real... they just wanted to continue the movie and
There's
make
a
Jason the
time
killer.
lapse.
The creator of the first film didn't want to make Jason the killer. He wanted to leave it at that and make it ambiguous, and it wasn't about that. It didn't make any sense to him. Now he's a roided out big guy living in the woods the whole time, never made contact with a mom who's out here killing counselors because she thinks her kid died 20 years
But don't you
earlier,
find
30
out?
years
Don't they
earlier.
explain that in a later film where they show like this cult that knows
No.
about Jason? They like summon him from the devil like back to
Well,
life.
the movies just got ridiculous because
but
they're
that
trying
would
to make up
explain
for...
like how he exists
kind
at
of.
all in that universe.
They're trying to make up for everything. He just got more and more jacked. It doesn't make any sense.
He got more and more roided out.
It just gets ridiculous.
Well-
The end of the second movie ends like the end of the first one, where he jumps through the thing in slow motion, and his bag's off, and he jumps through. It's all in slow motion. He jumps through the window and grabs her and takes her on her, and the movie ends. It's so they're so weird. The movies are weird. They're definitely B movies.
Michael Myers in
They're
the
B
first
movies.
film, he disappears from falling out a window. Who the fuck does that without saying
he
goodbye?
didn't even fall
Dude,
out a
that's
window. He
cigarette.
just fell off of like a single story.
Yes, it was like
Yeah.
one story. He
was
got
like-
shot.
yeah.
It could have been in the
He
shoulder.
did get shot.
It could have been in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
I
who
didn't
knows
even
what
realize that
happened.
the second film wasn't even directed by
John Carpenter.
It
Yeah.
was a different
Yeah.
director.
It's weird because I really like the second one, but it's not. They're ignoring
It's a higher
it.
budget.
Yeah, they're ignoring it. I like how it's claustrophobic in a hospital at night. It's interesting. But anyways, that's what I'm saying about Jason. Jason is kind of a weird B movie, whereas Nightmare on Elm Street, the later ones became weird, but
No.
the initial movies in all those franchises,
Dude, you
the first,
crazy.
what
The
Nightmare on Elm Street,
became weird.
they got weird. The second
No.
one is weird. It doesn't like he's all of a sudden not in the dream world.
Okay, so
Doesn't
you have
make any sense.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Freddy's
is the second
Revenge,
one,
and
came
the
out
third
in
one is
85.
Dream Warrior, or is that the fourth? Dream Warrior.
Third one is
third
Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, which is
in the
the
hospital.
whole concept of like the
In the
kids
institution.
fighting against
Yes.
Freddy in the dream. I love that.
I
and
know.
then Dream Master is the fourth one, which
Yep.
is directed by Rennie Harlan.
Yep, on the bus and everything. Yeah,
And
So-
Stephen Hopkins is the director of A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child.
right. What I'm trying to say is those movies get weird. They're not. The first one was really well done.
I feel
think.
like
the later
Final
ones became
Nightmare
more.
wasn't that good.
I feel like they all became kind of B movies, and I think they even started like getting released right to,
No.
to
No, the-
VHS. I'm pretty
Watch
sure.
them all. No, they didn't. They all came
I
out in
have
theaters,
absolutely
dude.
watched them all. I've watched at least the first 3 in the last couple years.
They all came out in theaters.
I
none
don't
of
think.
them were
I don't
straight
think.
to
I don't
VHS
think
at all.
5. We'll check it out. I don't
Yeah.
think that 5 or 6.
Dude, no, Freddy Krueger is like an iconic character that entire time period, all through the 80s and early 90s.
Okay.
And then they did.
Now, okay.
So the-
New Nightmare is
So
is
New
awesome.
Nightmare was like the supposed to be, according to Wes Craven, it was kind of like the prereq. It was what they were coming up with this. They had this idea for a Scream type movie.
Okay.
And then Kevin Williamson ultimately ended up
Did
writing
Scream, which
this
Wes Craven
incredible screenplay for
directed.
Scream. Yeah, which
So you're
Wes
saying it
Wes
was
Craven
kind of
directed.
prelude to Scream? That was the idea.
It was
with New
trying to
Nightmare?
be this film that was like aware of itself.
Yeah.
Like
Meta.
that
It's meta.
kind of
It's very
concept,
meta.
the meta, and like that's what Scream is. Scream is like these killers
Without
who
being
are
supernatural.
essentially mimicking Hollywood killers
Yes.
in real life, and there was no supernatural element, but it was like that they all were. It was kind of like crossing that line of like Hollywood and reality.
Yeah.
And so in the New Nightmare, it's like weird. It's like they're filming a Freddy Krueger movie, and then they're like cut, and then it's like the actual.
Actors playing their actual
Actors and
selves,
yeah.
playing themselves in the movie.
Yeah,
I love
and
that
they're
concept.
like being themselves in real life. It's
Yeah.
like it's such a cool.
And now there's an
concept.
actual Freddy, and he
Well,
looks
then the
different.
actress goes home, and then she's talking to Robert Englund. She's like, "Hey, what's going, Robert? You were great.
Yeah.
That scene was great." He's like, "Yeah, that was great. I'm Robert Englund." And then
Yeah.
like she goes home, and she starts to have
It's
like
an actual line in the movie too.
yeah,
I'm
like-
Robert Englund,
There's like it's true.
and you're whatever.
There's
it is.
like she starts having like these actual dreams about Freddy, and shit starts fucking fucking her up like
In
in
real
real
life.
life off camera, and she's
Yes.
like hanging out
With
with
her kid,
Robert
remember-
Englund, who's Freddy Krueger
Yeah.
on screen, but there's a real Freddy Krueger
I loved
in her
it.
dreams.
this.
Yeah.
So good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That's Red Rum, isn't it?
That's yeah.
It's Shining.
That's just- well, it's not Red Rum. That's
Oh,
Toby or Tommy or
Tommy.
Yeah.
the little
he talks
voice
to-
in
yeah,
his head.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But what I'm saying is,
It was great, man.
Yeah, I do. New Nightmare, I really liked.
And
I
that was
remember
1994.
I know,
That was
94.
like 3 years
and they even
after
made.
Final.
They actually rebooted Freddy's look a little bit in that film. I remember he didn't
Yeah.
have the shirt or the
It was
hat or whatever.
So much. It felt like a serious.
His glove
more
was
serious
different.
film.
It was. I
grounded.
thought
It was
the
shinier.
Yeah.
all right.
I remember that.
Yes.
Oh, this one was 3D. Freddy: The Final Nightmare. It was actually red and blue 3D in theaters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
a big
wow.
deal. I remember that.
All right, so Freddy is great. Jason, I feel like there's no real. It was all. It started B movie. It ended even like worse than B movie. From the
I don't think it was
beginning-
that bad.
No, from the
You
beginning.
crazy
Look, I don't
dog.
think. I think. Yeah, I don't think. Look,
The history, his backstory.
I feel like I can fight this
was,
better with Leatherface versus Michael Myers because Leatherface, at least there was more psychological aspect to him and
Yeah.
it's more realistic.
Right.
Leatherface
Then-
probably has like the best background.
I
of
think
all
he has
of
that.
these.
Yeah,
What
he
was
has-
his background again?
He came from this.
I don't
like,
know, but
fucked
whatever
up
it
family.
is, it's got to be not good.
He used to live in.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
the
Jason,
original.
yeah, the original, yeah, with that.
He used to
Toby-
live in The
Toby-
Hills Have
yeah,
Eyes,
Toby
and he
Hooper.
moved out.
Yeah, that movie fucked me
Yeah.
up.
He used to live
Second
in The
one
Hills
was
Have
kinda weird.
Eyes, and then he
Second one was
moved
weird.
out. Yeah, and that's what happened to Leatherface.
They also remade that.
Yeah.
They did do a remake of that. Yeah.
Wait, but how did he die?
Who?
Not
Leatherface?
how did he die. What was his backstory? Do you remember his Leatherface's backstory?
It was like an abusive family situation, if I remember correctly.
they said he was like ugly or
and
something,
he was
or
ugly.
maybe he
and
was deformed.
He was deformed
Is
because
that how we're killing people now? You're ugly. All right, I'm gonna go murder like 1,000 people.
he was deformed, and
These
he was
movies explain.
Did I just
the
say
cultural
1,000? Did I just say
phenomena.
1,000?
Huh?
1,000 people? That's like 1,000, isn't it?
That is 1,000.
Okay.
I
I wasn't trying to make a big deal of it. I thought you guys were gonna pick
I was
up
gonna
on
say,
it.
like, these horror movies have like defined the cultural shift that our society is experiencing right now, and being
Or-
more
what?
PC, like with things because, like, what's his name? Jason Voorhees is like mentally challenged. I don't know what the PC term is now, but
He was deformed. I don't think he was mentally challenged. He wasn't mentally challenged. He was just the
they don't
11-year-old
explain it.
kid.
He was definitely
vulnerable.
deformed. But like same
He was
with
deformed
what's his name?
physically.
Leatherface?
Leatherface was deformed. That's why he would cut people's skin off and then like put it on his.
Right.
Made like a mask.
Now,
of
what's
other
his face
people's
was
skin.
clinically insane. Michael Myers is clinically insane. He was in an institution for 20 years or
Yeah.
whatever, 15 years or whatever. What 20 was it, like 18 years?
I
Whatever
feel
it
like
was.
he saw his sister banging somebody in the first film, and that fucked him all up as a kid.
She wasn't banging
so he
anybody.
murdered her.
Yeah, but he wasn't. She like when you see her, she's
Was
like
she not
brushing her
banging
hair
somebody?
topless, which is a very weird scene. I don't know why she's brushing her hair topless with her door open.
Yeah.
It's a setup.
Do you just yawn into the mic?
I just did. yawn
Stifle
into
that
the mic.
shit. Stifle that shit.
I tried to.
All right, but all I'm saying is Michael Myers is the coolest out of all of them. Okay, who's
Like
gonna?
how he said that like a
Dude,
little
I-
kid. He said,
I
"Well,
think you like Michael Myers more than
is
Freddy
like the
Krueger."
coolest
No,
one.
well,
of
why
all
didn't they make a Michael Myers versus Jason or a Michael Myers
No, they
versus
Freddy versus Jason.
Why?
Because those two can
Michael
live in their
Myers is
own-
not cool. That's why.
No, because he's too cool
Not
for those
cool.
movies. That's a
Not
fucking
cool.
ridiculous.
No,
Freddy
I
versus
think the
Jason.
reason
Jason goes to hell. Freddy versus Jason. Jason acts
and
ridiculous
Freddy-
movies. All of them.
You haven't
Jason
seen Jason
and
X,
Freddy-
have you?
I have seen Jason X. I've told you this 100 times. I've seen it. Absolutely. He's flying through
seen
space.
it 100 times?
The hologram. No, I've seen it one time. The holographic.
I
scene.
own it. Do you own it?
Camp Crystal Lake. They disturb. No, I don't own it. There's a reason.
Do you
I
own
it.
any of the Freddy Krueger films?
No, I own the Halloween movies. Were the only ones I owned.
Which Halloween?
Michael
movies?
Myers, 1 and 2.
This fucking guy.
You know that that's
This guy.
those
I
are the
th-
best ones. You know they're the best ones.
I don't know, dude. I would include the first Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street.
And the second Halloween. You like the second Halloween a lot. Don't fucking.
I love the second, but I would say that those two are.
Would you put Nightmare-
equally- I would probably
Would
be
you
more
put Nightmare
inclined.
over Halloween 2?
I would choose Nightmare as far as like if I got home tonight and
Yes.
I was gonna and I had a choice between any one of the first 3 films, I would choose Nightmare on Elm Street as the film. To me, that's a more entertaining film
Then Halloween.
than Halloween.
Holy shit!
Or,
You actually like, not just for the sake
Friday
of the
the
argument,
13th.
you like Nightmare more than you like
I think
Halloween.
it's a better shot film. I think the way it's
It's
shot.
more advanced than everything. It's got a bigger
It's
budget.
84, yeah.
It's got a bigger budget.
and-
It's
yeah.
you
It's just
know,
more. It's fun. It's
they're-
like
the only reason Nightmare happened is because he already had the Jason movies doing well and the Halloween movies doing well. It kind of
I will say the thing I love about the Halloween films,
Yeah.
and this is going to be a positive for him,
Yeah.
is that they take place during Halloween. Like almost exclusively, all of those films take place during that.
Does Nightmare happen?
Time
They all seem to be happen in the fall time.
No,
actually, no.
Friday the 13th usually
Actually, Friday the 13th is
happens
summer.
I
It's
forgot
the
what
beginning
day.
of summer.
Yeah, summertime.
Beginning of summer. Yeah.
Camp Crystal Lake. It's just like a summer getaway.
In fact, I don't even think they happen on Friday the 13th. They just called it that.
I don't even think they do the camp thing anymore. It's like in the later films, it's just like a group of kids
Yeah, he goes to
go
New York.
drink and have premarital sex.
No shit, yeah, he
and
goes
then
to New
murders
York, then he
them.
goes to
Yeah.
space.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You
You got-
gotta admit, he is like the moral
Chapter 8,
challenger
Jason
of
takes
modern
Manhattan.
America. Like, you know,
True. He's keeping
Jason
him in line.
Voorhees is like letting kids know
He's the church lady of
you guys
horror
violate
films.
these morals.
I think if you look at it, you have three
slice and
stages.
dice ya.
Yeah, it's true.
You have the more
Yeah, Jason takes Manhattan. He's
Fantasy?
literally in Times Square.
Yeah,
Nobody notices.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Manhattan in the 80s? Like,
Didn't they do Jason? Jason and the Muppets take Manhattan. Didn't they do one of
No.
those? No, they should have.
I will say
What?
though, have you guys seen Freddy versus Jason? I saw it in
Yeah.
theaters and I thought it was fun. Like I just let go. I can't be critical of those kind of films.
But they're
Like,
not
it's
actually
such a ridiculous concept.
Scary. They're not actually scary or
no,
crazy.
it was fun though.
That's what I'm saying. They're
It's
making
a
them
fun movie
because
and
they're so
but that's
bad.
what you want.
They're
If
good.
you're gonna have a versus, how could you have a versus movie and have it be
Michael
serious?
Myers is not about so fun it's good. Okay, those other movies are like you're laughing at it. You're not
No.
laughing at Halloween.
I
Halloween
feel
you're
like
not
in
laughing at.
Halloween 4 and 5, like they were fun.
First
Halloween.
two
No, no. Halloween. Here's the thing.
It takes itself
Freddy-
more serious. The
Friday
Halloween
the
movies take
13th,
themselves more serious.
Nightmare on Elm Street is
They
more
do.
of
I will
a
say
a
that,
creative fantasy horror film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday the 13th was a step down from that, and then Michael Myers was more of a serious thriller type of horror film.
It became very. They
Where-
all
where-
became supernatural.
So
Yeah, they did.
They
Yeah,
became
eventually.
supernatural, but it was more. But you never saw a lot of when it came to Halloween. There was not a lot of that joking aspect in there. There was a lot.
There was
more,
none.
There was a lot more.
Like no jokes in those.
No,
first
there was
two
like
movies.
like jokes within the characters and stuff, just to do
Barely.
it to break the scene and stuff. But
Like you guys have to admit, you like
Nightmare
that
didn't
Freddy
have-
Krueger
I liked
was
the first
funny.
Nightmare.
He
I
was
think-
like a funny
This is what I'm
psycho
saying.
killer.
Freddy Krueger was
I think he was scary in the
an
first one. I
entertainer.
had nightmares when I saw it when I was like 4. I saw
Yeah.
that movie young, and I literally had nightmares.
Well, the whole concept is like
Of him
he would
walking
come to you in
through-
your dreams. So you leave that movie thinking like, I'm gonna have a dream tonight about this
I have a
motherfucker,
question.
and then you do.
Is this a scene in the movie, or is this just in my dream when I was really young? I always have this image when I think of Freddy. He's walking through this corridor with steam, and he's got his blades, and he's like
Dragging
No,
him.
it's a
dragging
scene.
him.
It's a
That
scene.
scene in the movie. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
It's a scene.
I had actual nightmares about that scene.
Yeah.
For a while.
Because
So-
that was the whole thing. He was every time she would dream about him, he was in like that industrial building, and that's
Yes,
where they burned
exactly.
him alive.
Right. With
Yeah.
the
Which
furnace
is like
and all
all
that.
clues to like this,
Yeah.
the whole his history and
So-
all this stuff. Like I love that.
I saw
like,
Nightmare
the
before I
twist
saw
in
any of those.
that.
I saw the Freddy Krueger movies before I saw any Jason movies, any Michael Myers movies.
I did too.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
saw. I got on.
When I was a
Michael Myers
kid, it
when
was
I
like my
older.
friend, me and my friends would watch
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street because that was like the movie.
Yeah.
That was like
Nightmare
the
on
adult
Elm
movie,
Street.
You know, as a kid, you
I
could,
would
like-
love to see a Friday the 13th, like The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, Hills Have Eyes is brutal. That's not a fun movie.
That is not a fun.
It's
That's how I
disturbing.
want
If
to
you
see
want to be
Jason.
disturbed,
I'm
watch
not
Hills Have
into
Eyes.
disturbing. I'm like I could
If you want
watch
to
them,
watch
but
like weird nuclear fallout, people kidnap
Deformed.
babies and
Yeah.
then eat them, then
Yeah.
watch it.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I've been
they
looking
do.
for.
That's what happened. It's a Wes Craven movie, written and directed by
Jesus.
Wes Craven.
But-
Eating babies.
the thing about
Who
Nightmare.
eats a baby?
I don't know. Oh well, actually, let's do this though. Let's do it. Brawn for brawn. Who's winning in a fight? Not
That's
just
hard.
not
Have
literally
you
strength
seen
for strength,
Have you
but-
seen Freddy versus Jason? Freddy fucks Jason up.
Okay, good. That's fine. I'm not about Jason.
No,
I would take
Jason
Freddy over
doesn't
Jason
feel
too.
a damn thing.
I would do Freddy over Jason.
That was the whole fight. Is that Freddy moved fast and he was stabbing him like.
Okay, but
Jason
here's-
was just
Stab
like, what
Jason
the
over and
reason
over.
why-
you have to behead Jason.
Here's the thing. The reason why Freddy would win in a battle against any of these guys is because he's Dream. You have to steal his hat in order to actually win a fight against this guy.
No. All you have to do, he's like a
Literally
fairy.
steal his
you
hat
have
in
to,
the first movie.
You
That's
have to
how they
like
get him.
stop believing in him, and then he'll die.
I know.
But
That-
if you believe in him, he
And,
becomes
yeah,
more
that-
real.
automatically
I like
he's
that.
out.
That
He's
first
a-
Eric-
Automatically he's out because Jason and Michael Myers don't believe in
He's
shit.
literally
so,
Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
He's out.
He's
Yeah.
literally Tinkerbell.
so he's literally
He just
dead.
died.
Yeah.
Nightmare
So right
on
off
Elm
the
Street.
fight, he's dead.
Nightmare on Elm Street. The whole plan to get this guy is I'm gonna steal his hat. Bring it into the real world. He's gonna be like, "Oh shit, my hat!" He's gonna run out into the real fucking
And then you
world,
kill him.
and then we'll like hit him over the head with something. That's the whole fucking plan.
It's
These
amazing.
fucking coked up teenagers came up with this wild, cockeyed fucking plan, and we bought into that shit.
What are you talking about? I would do that today. If
I
that
would too.
scenario
I
was
would
occurring
too.
to me, I'd be like, we got to get this motherfucker's hat while we're dreaming.
But Michael
and then
Myers,
you got to wake me up.
Michael Myers is stealthy.
But the fact that it
is
worked was so
Jason.
bananas.
Jason is stealthy in a stupid way, though. He's like a dumb fucking, like, he just by happenstance doesn't actually get caught. Michael
No.
Myers is like,
Dude,
he's
you've
the
had
shape.
that
He's slick.
experience where like you're like
He pulled
trying to
people
stay
out of
up
a
all night,
window.
and you're like, I'm gonna stay up all night, and then you find yourself falling asleep, like, and you cannot control
but
it.
Jason-
that feeling is what that movie plays
I
on.
know.
It plays on people's fears of like falling asleep. Now it's like
I know,
dangerous.
Nightmare's scary. Nightmare's
It's
scary.
not
Okay,
the
so
nightmare.
right off
It's
the bat,
dangerous to fall
I'm gonna
asleep.
say this again.
Like,
I know.
and if you're trying to, like, I've done that thing where I'm like, I'm gonna have an all nighter
I'm gonna-
tonight with my friends or whatever, and then I'm like, come 2 o'clock or 3 in the morning, I'm just like, I cannot keep
Yeah.
my eyes
So
open.
two
I'll
things.
give
And
Nightmare-
that reminds me, those moments remind me
Two-
of this
that-
film.
that
Two
is
things
scary.
why Freddy already lost.
Why?
One is because
The
you
hat?
have to believe, and I know Michael Myers and Jason don't believe on his ass.
Yeah, but when you're actually
And two-
confronted, you can't
and
not
two-
believe.
And two,
If he's
is
there,
the
like, and
dream.
he seems solid,
And
like,
two
you
is the
can't control it. Like,
And
you're
you
just
have
gonna
to
automatically
actually-
believe it because you see
it's
it.
Like this.
Two
It's this
is
argument.
dream.
Don't think of sex with Don't think of sex. You're gonna think of sex. Like, don't think of
Yeah.
this. You're gonna think of it.
That's how Freddy
No,
wins.
that's the way
He's
thing. You
like,
can't. So, now I believe
don't
it. You have
think
to
about Freddy
actually not
Krueger.
believe it, but you've already
but our
believed it.
psychotic
Yeah.
mental states, it really does. It's not about
Okay,
belief
let's
or
all
not
disagree.
belief.
Jason is out because he's ridiculous.
He's not. No,
No.
He's a
No.
ridiculous character.
No.
The backstory
No.
makes no sense.
What is wrong with him?
No.
Freddy's better than Jason. I'll give you that, Neil.
Yeah, Freddy
No.
is better. I
Thank
think
you. So
I think
Jason's
Freddy
out.
is better.
Jason's not out. How's
I-
Jason out?
Dude, this is the
Give
Holy
me reasons
Trinity.
why
It's
Jason's out.
It's a stupid character
This is
that's just
the
a
Holy
rip off
Trinity.
of Michael Myers.
It
And
doesn't matter.
Even
He's
the
still there.
creators agree.
It doesn't matter. He's still there.
He was a ripoff.
And
But
he
then he
still is.
became his
He's
own
a ripoff
thing.
that became,
But
yeah,
barely.
he-
Like
he-
what? What is
he became his own thing. He was more popular in the 80s and 90s than Michael Myers was.
Jason X wiped the whole fucking thing
Hold on,
clean.
hold
There's
on.
nothing good about
I will
the character after
say,
Jason
like,
X.
they've had better, and so, you're probably gonna disagree with me. Like, there's been better consistency, not necessarily quality control, but with the Halloween franchise versus
Nope.
Friday the 13th.
What about?
Friday the 13th has been consistent in like Jason Voorhees is the bad guy, other than the first film, which is the mother.
Okay, fine.
But Jason Voorhees is the bad guy from beginning to the most recent film that's come out.
Same with Michael Myers.
Now, in the Michael Myers, they did that third film, which is a complete
just
change.
one-
They were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a Twilight Zone on the with the Halloween name, and then we're gonna do a spin-off and do
One
a whole
movie.
series of films called Halloween that have nothing to do with each other."
One movie,
Yeah.
and there's a problem with Jason with one movie too.
It's
so
a
there you
weird
go.
movie, and it doesn't even
Fine,
like
it's fine, but it has nothing
Yeah,
to do
but
with
we
Michael
got that
Myers.
shit off in the
Season of
beginning.
Witches.
That's not a Michael Myers problem though.
But then I feel like to a degree, like the story kind of just started to get more and more outrageous. It was like the niece.
Jason didn't get more outrageous.
It was the niece. No, because Jason doesn't have to have all that.
Jason
backstory.
X, you fucking you know that movie is the most ridiculous movie that's ever
Okay,
been
it's
made.
So
Look,
good.
yeah.
He flies through the air.
For like the camp and for the fun and for the ridiculousness.
Anyways,
it's like
look,
perfect.
They literally
It's what I want.
Hold on. They literally like the steak with the Doberman pictures. They're like, here, hologram of kids at a campsite. That'll distract him because he loves killing kids at campsites.
It's what I want from us. It's like
ridiculous.
it's meta. It's
not meta.
You know what it is? That film is like
it's the
like the
ultimate
new
camp.
nightmare.
It's
It's
just
the new
camp.
nightmare
No.
for Jason Voorhees.
New Nightmare was serious.
No.
Jason X is ridiculous.
It's not serious.
I just
but
wanna
it-
go back to
it
find out
acknowledges. They're
what-
like, oh, this guy was a killer back 5,000 years ago. Like he murdered all these teenage kids, so we're using our technology to try and get him. And he
Cryogenically
still whoops their
frozen
ass.
by
I
natural
like
elements.
it. I've probably seen that film. It's ridiculous, but
Yeah,
I've seen
you
that film
have
so
fun.
many
You
times
have to
because
just
it's
let go.
It's
Yeah,
a
some
It's
of
great,
fun, but
it's a
that's
great
like
film.
saying would Austin Powers beat James Bond? Like that's what it is to
But
me.
you let go.
Oh, with the jokes of 100%.
yeah, but we're not talking about jokes. You can't kill him with laughter
why
for
not?
real.
You can't. You
No.
can't like. You can't just
no, that's literally
categorize how
Austin,
it's played
that's
out.
Literally Austin Powers versus James Bond.
No.
Some bullshit. No, Jason
Heck-
X is a comedy. It's not a horror film. It's a comedy.
It's
Anyways,
comedy
let's go
horror.
back- I want
Comedy
to go back
horror.
to where
Which
you
is
say
great,
Jason's
because
out.
I feel like the Freddy versus Jason was also very comedy horror. Like it
It
had
was, yeah.
tried to be. It had serious moments.
totally.
It was like a fine balance of like serious.
Michael Myers
funny,
is not comedy though.
ridiculous.
He's gonna rip that ass up for real.
Okay, I want to go back to where you're saying
Look at the
Jason's
new
out-
Halloween.
Jason's out. I don't just.
Jason is not.
I don't. Jason is not out.
This is
one,
the Holy
because
Trinity.
Even with
You
you,
want Freddy to win, so of course.
even
Jason's
if you
out.
No, but
even
Freddy's
with you
up here
saying
and
that
Jason and Michael are down here.
You think Jason and Michael are
Freddy
neck and
is
neck?
God, and I don't know. what-
No, yeah, I don't agree with that.
I
This is
can
a great decision. But here's the thing: you're saying that
Who's
Jason is a
Jesus?
Jason is a ripoff from Michael Myers,
Yeah, they even
and it was a
admitted it.
successful ripoff because they've made
He's
so
made
many
more
films for
films.
it. How is he done?
Yeah.
How is he
That's
done?
bananas.
When was the last Jason film?
Wasn't it Jason versus?
You can't-
When was that?
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, when was it?
2003. But that was the
No, Jason X was after Jason
Yeah,
X.
it's been 2010.
Jason X was.
When
after
was the last
that?
Friday?
They're already talking about bringing it back.
The Friday the 13th remake. When was it? Like 2010?
That's- yeah.
2010, I want to say.
Yeah. So
Hold on, let me see here.
what are you saying? They're already talking now that they're talking about another remake.
Signature weapon.
They're talking about another
Machete.
Jason remake.
When was the last Friday the 13th film?
This is so good. You're crazy, dog. Oh, hold on. I want to look up like the.
No,
list
they're
of
good.
films.
They're so bad they're good. That's different. Halloween is not so bad it's good. It's just so good.
They're not that.
No,
bad.
they're so bad they're good.
They're not.
You haven't watched them in a long time. I've watched them
No,
recently.
I've watched-
You
Dude,
rewatched all the
I
Jason
rewatched
Voorhees?
the first
I go on
two or
Crackle
three
all the
ones
time.
recently. Like the OG ones, the ones that are like supposed to be the best in the franchise. I rewatched them recently. All of these films were on Amazon Prime up until recently. They had like all the Jason movies.
You know, it was originally supposed to be a TV series, a television show.
No, it wasn't. Jason.
Yeah.
Was. Friday the 13th was, but it wasn't gonna have
Friday the
anything to do
13th,
with.
the series.
Yeah, because it was gonna be a whole like continuing, like almost like Twilight Zone-ish.
So
all right, here, hold on. Let me just list these films. So there's
Friday, real
Friday the
quick,
13th.
I want to know the most recent
real
one.
quick, Friday the 13th remake is on track to
2010?
come out 2020.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're doing another remake. Okay, cool. But
So,
this
hold
new
on.
Halloween film, by
It
the way,
was
I'm just gonna say,
Friday the
looks more-
13th.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on, Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th, part
Part
2,
two.
part 3, which I love that they just say part 1, part 2.
Yeah,
part
it's a
3.
God because they think they're
It's
the
great.
Godfather films. Fuck
Friday
outta
the 13th, the final chapter, which clearly it wasn't the final chapter. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, which is a smart, from the final chapter to A New Beginning.
Of course.
Friday the 13th, 6, Jason Lives.
Yep.
Friday the 13th, part 7, The New Blood. I love
Jason's
that it's
still
parts.
alive.
Friday the 13th, part 8,
Yeah.
Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Wasn't the final one.
Wasn't that-
Then Jason X was 2001,
Uh-huh.
and Freddy versus Jason was 2003, and then they did Friday the 13th in 2009. Dude, that's so many films.
2009 was the last one. Okay.
Yeah.
And all of them maintain consistency. That's what I'm saying. There's
Consistency.
that's what I
First
think
to
is
second
admirable.
one is no. First 1 to 2.
Jason
is such
hasn't
a jump.
changed.
No, 1 to 2 is such a jump. In its inception, the character makes no sense because the origin of the character is he's an 11-year-old kid who drowned and died in the river.
But
right?
it was
in the lake,
like
in the
but
lake. Sorry, I
they-
keep saying
in the
river.
beginning of the first film, the main characters of that film, that was like 20 years after he died.
Yes.
Supposedly died.
So he's right, and at the end of that film, an
'Cause he's clearly
11-year-old
still alive.
Jason jumps out of the lake.
But don't they? I feel like in one of the early films,
No,
they
I
show
looked it
these
all up.
kids like summoning, like sacrificing someone to bring Jason back. Like they do that in these films, these series of films, to explain how he's coming back from the dead and all that shit. So it's like all explained.
I believe
It's all,
that
they worked it all out.
I believe that they went back and tried to correct it with later movies with ridiculous, hokey,
Oh my God.
They
D-list
tried to go back and
screenwriting.
say that the only way you can kill him is
Halloween
to
just
take him
even,
back to the
even
lake.
the later films of Halloween
That was the
never
whole
got
thing.
that hokey. Is what I'm saying.
That
They-
is not true.
No.
Because they did the same
That
thing with
hokey?
Michael Myers.
That hokey.
There's like a cult that brings Michael Myers back.
But that hokey.
yes.
That hokey.
Yes. They're in
That
like in this-
hokey.
they're in the basement of a hospital, and there's like all these people that are gathered that are like summoning Michael Myers,
But-
and they sacrifice a virgin and all this shit, and they're like, "Oh, Michael
Hollywood-
Myers, come back from the dead."
But Halloween.
yes,
true. Yeah,
they
that's
do it. It's in like Halloween 5.
Yes, but Halloween H2O righted a lot of those wrongs, right?
No, it didn't.
Yes,
it was
did.
trying to be a copy
And
of
then-
the
Sounds like
Scream.
Michael Myers doing a lot of righting the
It
wrongs.
was trying to be
And then
like, I know what you
and
did
then Halloween
last summer.
Resurrection, it actually explained it with like a non-retarded.
What? What was that?
Ridiculous.
What were you gonna say?
Retarded, ridiculous.
So here's the thing.
You're not allowed to say the R word.
I think-
know.
I think Michael Myers is
It's retarded.
the strongest of them all. I really
Never
do.
go-
I
Wait,
really think
wait, who
Michael
do you-
Myers because he's
Thank
I
you.
like more
Thank you.
serious
That's all I'm saying.
dark films.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I agree
I don't
that
think
he's more
I don't
serious.
agree.
I didn't disagree
I don't
with that.
agree
No, but
with the
it's-
fact that you're downing Jason
But
so much
Jason
because it's
X
not.
but Jason
if
X
it
is
was, there
ridiculous.
wouldn't be so many films. If it was so ridiculous, there wouldn't be so many making. If it was so bad, Jason was such a bad character, they wouldn't make such a ridiculous film.
No.
Jason X.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy the films, but what I'm saying is the Jason movies made their butter off so ridiculous it's good, so bad it's good. No, that is what they're known for. Come on, man.
I don't think it's that.
They're not known for quality films. Halloween
See,
is
I
known
can't
to be a
say those.
classic. No,
I can't say.
I don't
those.
think the
Look it up.
creators.
I can't say
I don't
that.
think the creators were going for that.
yes, they were.
I think they were
I
They
don't
just
literally said that that's what they were going
they were
for.
continuing like the
I think they
slasher
are a lot
franchise.
light. There, I think
They knew what they were doing, dude. They weren't making
Well, they
anything.
are good.
Yeah, they're B movies.
Not because they're bad.
They're not
Halloween
B
is not a
movie.
B movie. No, they are B movies, dude. No, I'm not saying this like it's my own.
I will say,
thought,
like,
even.
there's a series of
I
them.
think I think we're using
Jason X alone. They couldn't
But
do with
it's like,
Halloween.
you know what it is? It's like this weird guilty pleasure. Like,
That's
you
what
know
I'm
it's not
saying.
going to be great, but you know it's going to be gory,
I
and you
know.
might jump, and you might get scared,
Totally.
and there's going to be some
Totally.
naked women.
Yeah,
And that's
all of that.
You know, and
All of
Jason's
that.
going to be going around.
But
hacking
Halloween
people up.
doesn't have those cheap tricks. Is what I'm saying.
It's not cheap, dude.
It's not cheap. It's a
I
it's a
love
type
that,
of
like,
entertainment.
they take Jason Voorhees, who's like this character that you now know is like a serial killer, mass murderer, and they just throw him in these like ridiculous scenarios where he's
Yeah.
being brought back from the dead. He's
Space
like
X-
in Manhattan, like killing people. Like it's just he's in space thousands of years. I just love.
It's like the
you
Leprechaun
gotta
film.
understand.
You can throw him in
when
any-
he goes
It's
to
like Leprechaun in
the
space.
last
a little
scene
bit
when
like
he goes
Leprechaun,
to
yeah.
Manhattan
Warwick
and
Davis,
he's
right?
there
Yeah, Warwick
and
Davis.
nobody notices him.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
It's so realistic because how
You know-
how everybody's acting, and it was great.
Jason
scenes.
10 is such a fun film.
How do they
Jason X,
kill him? Do
whatever.
they pull an alien where they like suck him out in the
Yeah,
airlock?
but he doesn't get pulled apart. He's coming towards them with the machete in his hand. How is he not getting ripped apart? How is
Why,
he
in
not
space?
imploding or exploding in space?
That's not a real thing. That's a Hollywood thing.
and
seriously.
the Earth's also flat.
I don't know. I seriously.
What
like,
happens to you in space?
Google
for real?
Google
You
NASA.
freeze or something.
I think they
Something
said your
happens.
blood boils, which I don't
You
understand. 'cause
die.
It's supposed to be like really cold.
You die is the point, though, right? He's coming. He's raising.
he's
his
already.
thing.
He's the undead. You
I
can't.
know.
Yeah.
You can't die.
He's a kid who drowned in a river. You keep seeing river. He's in a lake.
this
and now
guy
he's
needs
flying
to
in
like
space
accept. He needs to
in
like
3020.
yeah. He
It's
needs like some
ridiculous.
compassion.
I
and
just
he
love
needs
the
to
fact
just
that
acknowledge
I
the
started-
kids-
Okay, but can
That
we?
we started this podcast with the fact that I didn't know how I was gonna fight for Jason.
And
but
now you got him on your
it's
side.
now it's become like the main topic. Why is
honestly,
Jason
I
important?
want all three of these guys to win. I like feel like this is a versus,
know.
but I love all three.
I know,
of them.
because Freddy, I will say Freddy and Michael Myers could go head to head. I really do feel like Jason
don't
takes
want-
the back seat only because the movies are acknowledged as being kind of ridiculous. They are fun,
that.
but they're kind
I
of
don't get
ridiculous. Now,
But Michael Myers just
I
doesn't
will
How,
say
have
this.
no,
agility.
first let me ask you this: how are you gonna say that Friday the 13th is ridiculous, but and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, but Nightmare on Elm Street has no ridiculous element at all because it's
They
more
acknowledge the
ridiculous
supernatural from the
because
beginning.
it's more ridiculous, but it doesn't make
Yeah.
doesn't make the
I
doesn't
think
change
those-
the fact that it's
Do you
more
guys remember the
ridiculous.
last
New
It
Nightmare-
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it.
but also
if
New
they acknowledge it or not.
Nightmare helped really like Nightmare is such an interesting concept. It was so creative when they did that in '94. 10 years later, they then rebooted it in a way with Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and that movie was so interesting. It was so creative that I'm like, I'm down for this. Like they just did such an like Jason X is what they did when they wanted to go crazy with it. New Nightmare with that franchise. New Nightmare is what they did when they wanted to go crazy with Freddy. It was just so interesting. It was just such a more creative, non-schlocky movie. And whereas Jason is just gets crazy, and they almost like want to embrace that campy craziness of it because that's what people love about those movies, which is totally fine. But the New Nightmare or the Nightmare on Elm Street movies started acknowledging that are
You know what we
supernatural
need to do?
elements to this universe.
We need to have like a marathon.
Yes.
Where we sit down and we watch all the Nightmares and then sit down and watch all the
I agree.
Halloweens and then watch all the Jason films and then decide.
I agree, and I really do believe that we're going to side with Michael Myers on this one, and I'm not
We
saying
will
that
not.
because I'm.
Let me just list these movies.
It's more of
So
solid
we have-
films.
I love
We
how
have
he said we will not. Anyway, let me
Halloween.
just,
I will say this.
We have
after you say this.
Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, which
Doesn't count. We know
All right.
that they tried something.
It
It's
counts.
Not,
It
it's not a
counts.
knock
They
against
all
Michael
count.
Myers. No, it's not a.
producer Deborah Hill and John Carpenter.
No,
Yeah,
that's
count.
like saying no because that's not a knock against Michael Myers.
Oh.
We're talking about the character.
And look what
He's
it
not even
did.
in
Look
the
what
movie.
it did to
Doesn't
the
count.
Halloween film. That was
Yeah,
1982 that film came out. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, came out in 88, 6 years fucking later.
And then 95 was the next one? Or 94?
89 was the next one.
And then 95.
This was the next year, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And they both starred that
Girl,
the chick who was like
yeah.
the niece of Michael.
Who showed up in one of the Friday the 13th
right?
movies later.
Did she?
She was like a woman by then. She was like she was in the Friday
She,
the 13th
I feel like she
remake or
came
something,
back
or-
in like one of these later Halloween, like maybe Resurrection is like a cameo or something.
Okay.
But anyway, so then you have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, right? 4
Yeah.
and 5, which are connected
Yep.
very closely. And then Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
is
Not they
6.
don't call it 6, but
Yeah.
it's clearly the sixth
Yeah.
one. The Curse of Michael Myers, which is 95, which
Yeah.
is
95, yeah.
6 years later.
Yeah.
Then H2O, which was 3 years later in 98.
Yeah.
Halloween H2O, 20 years later.
And then
The
Resurrection.
full title. Halloween Resurrection, which I did not like, which is 2002,
Mm-hmm.
3 years later. And then you had Halloween and then Halloween
Zombie.
2, which was like the reboot that Rob
Yeah.
Zombie did. I don't know if I've actually seen Halloween 2 or not by Rob Zombie.
I
should
don't
watch that.
think I saw it either.
I've
saw
seen
it-
the
did,
first
I did.
one.
I
Yeah,
did.
which I didn't love the backstory because that wasn't like what I loved about the character. I thought the character
Something about
being
the-
an embodiment of evil was
Yeah.
more interesting than being an abused kid.
It
who,
didn't
like,
feel fun.
yeah.
It felt like Rob
It was
Zombie.
just gory. It was
Yeah.
Rob
It felt
Zombie.
Rob
like
Zombie's
very
like that.
Saw-ish or something.
Rob Zombie's.
It was.
Yeah.
And then the new Halloween,
was a,
2018, is,
yeah.
is coming out this year, which I really want to see.
Yeah. So let's just talk about that movie real quick.
But look
That
at
movie's
this-
about to come out.
look how-
and it looks like the most solid installment of any of these movies. Honestly, from the
It
trailer.
does, actually.
So I'm like, I'm just saying,
hopeful.
like that's where that franchise is going. You know what I mean? I don't know that these other ones.
I don't know.
They
I don't
tried-
know.
You
they
keep
tried-
saying that's where it's
I don't
going.
know.
Like it's like
because
it's,
in 2020 I'm gonna have another Jason film. So
Hold on.
I don't know where this
I don't
is
know
going.
it's gonna be great,
Halloween
though.
has the
I don't
first
know if
and
Halloween's gonna be
second,
great.
4, 5, and
I think
6.
it's gonna be fucking fantastic. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Honestly, I would skip H2O and Resurrection and both the Rob Zombie ones. I
Yeah.
would just consider like all those films from 98 on are not good films.
Yeah.
I actually really liked 4, 5, and 6. I
Yeah.
thought those were all solid.
I would say the first Halloween movie, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and then when it comes to Friday the 13th, I would say
Jason X. Jason.
I would say
Freddy
probably
versus
Jason X 'cause
Freddy
it's the
versus
most-
Jason. I'm gonna watch that shit tonight.
I say
haven't
Fred-
seen
second
that
I would
in
say
so
Jason-
long.
Second one.
The second.
Second one.
He doesn't even
love-
have the mask. He
I
doesn't
love-
even have the mask in that one.
It didn't matter. It just,
bag,
I love
dude.
how he
That
killed.
bag.
I love how he killed people in the second one.
He
It
pushed
was
that spear
super-
through them, and when
It
they
was
were having
spear.
sex in the bed, he put the spear right through them and double impaled both of them.
It's like the perfect marketing.
The girl
It's
from Rad
subliminal.
was in that movie.
All
One of
these
the girls
young
from Rad was in that
teenagers.
movie.
Yeah, all these young teenagers are like watching this movie, going like, "Oh shit, we probably shouldn't go to the lake and bang tonight because
Yeah.
Jason's gonna show up and fucking kill us."
Let's
Like,
do
This
it.
is like, oh yeah, like fuck this movie. Like I just like that it has that like hidden.
Yeah.
it
All
takes
right.
the morals of America.
I think
and,
I would
like,
say Jason X, which is the most ridiculous out of all of them, but it is the most fun to watch out of all the movies.
It is very fun.
Yeah. Maybe the original.
All right,
is-
so-
Nightmare on Elm Street's solid. I love
The first
Nightmare on
film
Elm
is
Street.
very,
Yeah.
very good.
All right,
That's what I'm
so-
talking about. The first one.
Play
is
some
a
out
solid
of
film.
Yeah.
Play some 1, 2, 3. Let's finish this. So you
I
go 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Your top, second, third.
Oh shit! All right.
Taken into all installments.
So there are no big gaps between these 1,
Yeah.
2, and 3.
Yeah.
They're like right.
That's
behind
what
it.
I'm
Okay.
saying.
I mean, I could do
That's not what
5
Nick
and
is
throw in
saying.
2 other like
Okay.
mainstream.
honorable. Yeah.
honorable mentions. You guys want to do that? You
Yeah.
want to do honorable so it's not doesn't feel like
Yeah, so
one's
you know-
like the loser.
Yes.
Okay, so my top 3 of these guys would probably say Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees, and then maybe like Jigsaw or something would probably be on.
Is that what we're doing? We're doing the character.
This is
numbers
just
right?
an
I thought we were
honorable
doing the
mention.
movies installments. Are we doing?
Oh, movie?
What were you saying, Diego? Because you.
That's fine. It didn't matter to me. I was just saying the top 3, like
Characters
Jason.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. So you said
Jason, Michael Myers, or
and then
who
you
who
threw
else?
Jigsaw in there. Okay.
Yeah, and then as far as like other franchises, I don't know. This is like hard actually. As
No,
far
just
as
top
honorable
3.
mentions.
You just, I don't know who came up with mentions. I
Oh,
was
I
up
did.
for 3.
I
Yeah,
did.
you did.
I thought we were doing movie installments. Like out of
I
all
guess
the
that-
movies, like which one?
All right, let me
what your
clarify.
top 3
So what
movies?
we're doing is the 3: Freddy Krueger, Jason, and Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Name them from number 1 to 3.
Okay, and
top
you-
to bottom.
And Neil said number
Neil
1
said
was
Michael
Freddy.
Myers.
I said Jason.
No,
or
no, you said
fuck. Freddy,
Michael
Frederick
Myers.
Krueger,
Yes, Frederick.
Frederick.
Michael Myers.
As
and
far as
Jason.
like
Michael
like
Myers and Jason.
most well-rounded. I feel like the story is the most fleshed out, but you like that Michael Myers doesn't have a fleshed
Yes,
out
I think
story.
it makes
so
him
for me,
scarier.
I
Makes
like
him
that the
scarier.
story is fleshed out. I like the twist at the end of the first film.
Yeah.
That like the parents are the reason the kids are getting fucked.
In
Like I like
Nightmare,
that.
Yeah.
Um, because then there's just this whole lack of
I
sympathy
do like that
from
whole
the-
story. I think it's
All right.
yeah. I think it's
Yeah,
very
it's really interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
Freddy, Michael, Jason.
and Jigsaw is honorable mention.
What do you got?
I just threw in Jigsaw because I
Because you like
think,
it, okay.
you know, it's
What
an
do you got?
interesting
Me,
character.
I'm gonna say Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason. So the same flip, because I'm arguing Michael Myers, just because I think his character is more intimidating in real world. So
He
it
is,
feels
yeah.
like I know Freddy's.
Well-
I know Freddy is supernatural, not real. I feel like there could be a real Michael Myers, not a real Freddy. That's really a big part of why it scares me more. And then my honorable mention, I'm gonna go with Ghostface. Fuck Hellraiser, but I want to say.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well,
fuck.
I don't
Hellraiser.
know.
It's too crazy to me.
Hellraiser. Fuck, I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of Hellraiser movies.
Yeah,
There's
but
a new one coming
They're
out too.
still making Hellraiser
Yeah, I know.
movies.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I'm gonna
I've
say,
only seen the first one and it fucked me up so bad. I was like, I'm not watching.
I'm gonna say
any more of these.
Ghostface because it's not the same person every time. It's always somebody different. It's an inspiring copycat every time. But especially I like the first one. I like that it ended up being two people, and I like the insanity.
Did
of
you
it.
see the fourth one?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the
we can spoil it. It's been out for a long time.
Yeah,
With
it's
two
on-
people.
Yeah,
Next
but, yeah. But the first one, what I really liked was I liked the chaotic wildness of Ghostface. It's kind of scary that you feel like is this kind of fucking PCP. What is going on? There's some, and then the slick, and they're like almost like the ghost
Yeah.
whipping by and like stealthy. And
Oh, and the first film is
cloak.
just. It's
I'm
just
talking
a
about the first one
masterpiece, yeah.
especially. Yeah. So that
Because
scares
you didn't
me.
know, like you're
and
like,
it feels
what?
more real world, and you don't know what's going on. And then you find out these people are just insane, psycho kids, and that's scarier. Kids are fucking scarier than
But they're
adults
psycho because
there's less
they've
rationality.
watched Wes Craven's film, who's
Exactly.
directing the movie.
Yeah,
about
which is meta
them.
in itself, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So my mentions is the difference between how I'm listing mine is that they are not far apart from each other. I think that's
Yeah.
the difference
That's-
between
well, that's
you
what Neil
and
just-
I.
No, that's what I
yeah,
said.
that's that's Nick is placed. I feel like
I think Michael and Freddy are closer, and I think Jason's a drop down.
I
because
think
of quality
he's
movies.
yeah. I think he's just dropping
and,
Jason
and with
way
the
too low.
inconsistency on backstory.
But my first one is definitely I like Michael Myers a lot.
so you're gonna put him first?
I put Michael Myers first.
Oh,
I put Jason second.
Oh, and Freddy last.
And the reason I put Freddy last is just
Wow.
I've never been a big fan of the Freddy series.
Interesting.
I
Really?
don't think they never fully connected as Jason and Michael Myers and those type of killing psychos. I didn't.
it's
I
not
wasn't-
it's not a slasher
it's-
flick in that way. It's more
not-
supernatural.
It's more of
horror
a
film.
Yeah, like-
supernatural. or
Yeah.
But he's like, when he kills people, it's like super clever.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
an aspect of
Yeah.
of his psychoses is that because he's in the dream world, he doesn't have to just go and stab someone with a knife or whatever.
Though
It's
his
called
powers are
clawing.
completely inconsistent movie to movie. The second one, he like can possess you and control you, which is not acknowledged in the first film.
When
as
they
something he
showed
can
him
do.
like arms stretching,
Yeah.
like 30 feet in every direction.
Yes.
Like, it's so bananas.
It gets
It's like a
crazy.
nightmare. It's a nightmare.
But yeah, it becomes sort of like it's a little inconsistent. What can he do? I don't really know.
Yeah.
But
My
honorable
honorable
men-
mention.
Wow, I'm looking
well,
at-
it's going back to Leatherface. I think
Leatherface? Yeah, it's
he's.
good. That's
Oh,
good.
yeah,
I think
he
he's
should be on
one
the
of those
list, yeah.
characters that
Even though it's like
The
one
se-
film, I
two-
realize he's
no, two.
solidified, but I know the second film's like to me garbage.
yes.
no.
The
there-
first
there's-
film
there
is
was
like
a-
really
Canon Films,
good.
the
there was a
second one.
remake.
Was it?
Canon Films
Films, the
was a
second one.
remake.
Canon.
It's like it was
It's
kind
an
of
older
like
film. It's an older film.
Yeah.
It's an older film. I think that character, if people did more films with them, he can be in league with Michael Myers, Jason, and
I don't want to
and-
do more films. This is such a
'cause
disturbing
it's just-
universe.
Because he is a very disturbing person.
Yeah.
I think if he had more movies, I would put him up against Michael Myers.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So,
I could see that. And Leprechaun's my honorable mention.
Okay.
Warren
Leprechaun
Beatty.
is the goddamn scary.
Yeah, when I was originally,
It was a
if you
piece of
rewatch it
shit.
now, there's so much comedy in those films. They actually get ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, I'm
Slither.
looking at this list, and they have Jason
All right.
Voorhees is above Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger.
Because people
On
are
this list.
diehard fans of the crazy B movie schlock of it. Like that is what gets them going. So they're
Yeah.
gonna put him on top.
That's-
Oh, Jack Torrance too.
Jason is more of an iconic
Pennywise.
character.
Jack
He's
Torrance from
iconic.
The Shining.
Yeah.
Pennywise from It. There's so many great.
Yeah,
villains.
those are one-off characters though. Like they have one.
I
movie
know.
each,
That's what I
so-
said. Like, oh,
All right.
We're looking at series.
dude from Candyman.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Candyman.
Candyman.
Isn't he
Yeah.
Candyman? I just call him. He's Candyman.
Well,
Candyman, yeah,
Daniel,
'cause you had to say it in the
Jordan
Rubber
Peele
Ball.
rebooting that potentially and potentially going to direct it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
That would be interesting. Yeah, they're talking about that.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you for joining us as this scary and freaky. And Jason almost won, but Michael Myers took the lead.
Yeah, Michael Myers won because 2 out of 3 voted him one.
2 out of 3. Yeah, exactly. So thank you for joining us here at Get to the Podcast. Let's get to the podcast.
Cut it out, Neil.
with the number
The Babadook. Babadook.
Nick-
See Babadook if you haven't seen Babadook.
Yeah, there's
That's
so
a
many.
crazy
Yeah.
Krampus.
And
Krampus.
Oh, Krampus.
My name is Diego
Krampus.
D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
Oh,
Norman Bates.
Oh, yeah.
He's on like 5 films.
Do the Halloween.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.